guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Viv's Aura back again. Hope you all are well. Hope you all are just doing fine. This is probably like my second or third take, only because I'm literally terrified. I've been feeling convicted to share this story, and I believe I haven't shared my story only because the fear of reliving the pain. Why I just feel so strongly that I need to share it is because I've just gone through life and seen so many things that it's just selfish of me not to share how God has built me up and my family. And at the end of the day, it's not about me. Like, as hard as it is to hear whatever I've gone through, it's not for me. I haven't written any notes, so I don't know where I'm starting from, but I'm just gonna start from the start. So you all may know me as an influencer, some may know me as a dancer even though I haven't danced in years, some may know me from TikTok, some may know me just from seeing me about, and everything that I put out is what I put out, like videos that make people happy or people just enjoy watching. I'm never really the type to just put myself out there, put my personal business out there. I don't know, I just find it awkward on camera. I just feel like, what am I actually talking about? So I came to the country when I was about 8. So it was me, my sisters, and my little brother. He was just born at the time. We lived with our mum and our dad. It's even a bit weird to say that together. I don't know, at that age, just so naive to everything, like, especially coming from Nigeria into the UK. We used to do a lot of things with our dads, like dads. I remember when he taught me how to ride a bike. He was just present. I won't say he was like the best father figure, but at the time he wasn't the worst, if I'm being honest. He still spent time with us. There was issues obviously between my mum and my dad, issues just beyond the kids. I think the transitioning from Nigeria to London was a bit shaky, but it got to a point where it was a bit toxic. I felt like a lot of the time our dad would put out that frustration towards us, but we still very much loved him, and like, especially my older sister, her and my dad were like two peas in a pod. But yeah, they kept on having issues and eventually they divorced. And coming from Nigeria, what's the meaning of divorce? I thought divorce was just for white people, just something that would just never happen, like a fantasy, not a fantasy, but well, technically a nightmare, but just something that would just never happen. It just wouldn't even cross my mind that would ever happen. So when they got a divorce, it was very shocking. It was really, really sad. How do you just go from living with someone that you see every day, and now you're lucky if you see him? And I remember the first time we this is just so weird. Why did I wear makeup? I remember the first time after the divorce, the split, after he moved away, and we were just so worried, like, where are you gonna live? And he was just like, he's gonna live in his own room somewhere. And it was just sad, because when you just feel so sorry for someone, and it's like we felt so sorry for him, but he's actually an adult. He will know how to take care of himself. But when you're just a kid and you just have so much love for your parent. Sorry guys, I don't know why I'm just being emotional. I think it's because I don't actually ever think about this or talk about it. Where was I? So yeah, I remember the first time we met up with him since he moved out, and we met up in McDonald's. It was just so sad. I don't know, it just kind of felt like when you see in movies people going to visit family members in jail, it felt like that. And it's weird because that's not the environment we were in. I think after that we only ever saw him twice, and then we just never saw him again. And then it got to a point where apparently he had moved to Nigeria, and since then we've never seen him again. And for me, I think my heart breaks more because of my little brother. He was very, very young. I feel like the girls, we had some sort of experience with him. I just feel like my brother's was like kind of stolen, and then that was just like, okay, that's one thing we're trying to get over. But we still had our mum, we were still surviving. We had our aunties, we had our cousins, we were still somehow surviving. Yeah, at that point we had moved houses. No, before, sorry, let me take it back. So we haven't moved yet. We used to live basically in the Bronx, like the ghetto part of London. I just remember very vividly actually my mum coming home, and she basically just gathered us all together and she told us that she had cancer, and it was stage 4 cancer. And she was just reassuring us, saying how, like, she was like, They're like, look at me, like I'm still doing everything I need to do. I'm still very strong, so don't worry. I'm still gonna be here. It's, you know, them telling her that it's not going to do anything, like she's still our mum. I think at that point, I was just completely shocked, and I'm sure we all were. But another thing, again, cancer is not something you hear often, especially like Nigerian culture. Like I used to see it on TV, but I never thought, not just a close relative, but my actual mother. I just couldn't fathom it. I think my brain couldn't fathom it. After that, she was still, you know, just doing her, going about her life, working, taking care of us, and I just absolutely love her for that. I think just looking back at it, because we were like young, we couldn't see the pain that she was probably going through because she hid it so well. I don't know if I'm gonna finish this video. I look like a hot mess. This is the reason why I have been stalling to do this video. Right, everything seemed fine at the time. Let's say the first year, she was still a bubbly self. One thing about my mum, she loved taking pictures. Like if there was an OG influencer, it was my mum. If people think, oh, they'd like to take pictures, no. My mum loved to take pictures. She loved music. She was just that girl. The one thing I admired even, you know, the most about her was she was a woman of God. She was a strong woman of God. She did not joke with God. It just showed me that you can live for God and still be that girl. You're happy, you're full of joy, you know, you've got humor. Because some people think, oh yeah, when you come to Christ all of a sudden you're boring. You're not boring. There's so much joy coming into Christ. So yeah, she was still her normal self. And we got to the second year into the stage 4 cancer. With stage 4 cancer, that's like the last stage. So it's basically like they found it extremely late at this point, because my mom was quite chubby, but at this point she's losing weight, so it was even hard to like see that transition, but it still seemed okay. It got to a point where she needed I think it's the gastric bag. I actually do pharmacy, so I should know this type of thing, but it's basically when your body can't eliminate feces normally, so you need like an external bag to do that basically for you. And I think that part was just scary, like even just seeing her cleaning it. I think it just made it more real, but she was still so strong and still her normal self. At this point, guys, forget my makeup, it's gone off. And another thing I remember so vividly was the bag, stoma bag, I think that's what it's called. So obviously, because it's having to like remove feces externally, sometimes like you could smell it. And I remember her coming back, I think she came back from work or something, and she told us how someone moved away from her on the bus because they could smell something, and my heart just broke, because now it's affecting her socially. She probably felt so bad. So now basically, guys, things are just getting real. Like things are getting really real. It's no longer, I can't really see it, like you can see it now. But even through all of that, she never stopped praying. It's very easy for a lot of people to just give up, you know, blame God for everything, but she still kept going for us, you know, still encouraging us just to be very prayerful. Fast forward now, she's lost even more weight now, and it's like scary weight loss now, to the point now that her body was deteriorating. I think the doctor said she didn't have long left. She still kept going for us. At this point, she was more dependent. Okay guys, I'm gonna try and finish. Yeah, so the doctor said, no, she didn't really have long. You know, we kept praying, just praying that a miracle happened. Even when it got to the point where you could actually see that her body was deteriorating, and not just her body but like her mind. So it was a lot slower when speaking, with eating, with moving, walking. So at this point I'm in college, like literally in the middle of my A-level. But even in that state, what was so beautiful is that she was still beholding her rosary. And it's like, if she couldn't find words, she always could say the name of Jesus. It was like everything else, the physical flesh was deteriorating, but her spirit was still so strong. She would still be encouraging us to be so prayerful. I think it got to the point where she kind of knew she would be going to. So like, I think she called us in separately, but I remember when she called me in, just telling me how much she loves me. Okay, let me try and say it. She's sleeping now. I think it was just me and my little sister. Once in a while I was just checking up on her, and I went into her room just, you know, to see how she was, and I couldn't, like, she wasn't breathing. And my little sister like, oh, check, like, do you think she's breathing. She wasn't breathing. So at this point we are panicking. So now we've called my aunties, my older sister, like, mum isn't breathing. I've literally tried to wake her up, like, mum get up, mum get up. She's not responding. It's like, you know when things are going through your head but you're just thinking, it just can't be this. There's just no way. So they've all come back home now. Everyone's literally terrified, but everyone's trying to put on a brave face at the same time because they don't want to scare everyone else. We've called the ambulance. They're telling us to do like chest compressions and CPR. Guys, I am literally, I've never pumped like, I've never been more determined than anything. We were all trying, just giving it our all, and we were just like, to the paramedics, like, why is nothing happening, why is nothing happening? And finally came. They're trying, literally praying, begging God, and they said that she was gone. In that moment, I think everything left my body. Everything. I was traumatized. We were all traumatized. And I just remember after, we just all like went into my brother's room, like it was a small confined room, and it was dark, and we just stayed there. We just cried. It's like life just flashed right before our eyes. We just cried. Nothing at that point mattered, but I'm just so appreciative of like my family, friends at the time, friends who came through for us and literally left whatever they're doing. This was like around 3 a.m. or something. Left whatever they're doing and just ran to our house, just held us. I think I'm gonna stop here. Look at my face. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stop here. I've got a headache. A banging headache. And I look ridiculous. I should have done this at the start. I don't know why I thought I could say the story without crying. This video was 90% tears and 10% story, but I'm gonna stop this video here. I will try and carry on another time and basically just say how we got through it, you know, what happened next, what happened, like what actually happened, and how we've been surviving, and not just surviving, been living because of God, like how we've been living, not just surviving but living, and how God has just shown so much of his goodness to us. I'm so sorry guys that I just cried the majority of this video, but I hope you guys like this video, comment, share, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.